What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some of, I think, the craziest NBA news that I honestly did not think that I would be talking about at all after these playoffs, but legitimately this rumor is getting absolutely out of hand, with a couple of rumors and kind of reports going around that actually suggest that the San Antonio Spurs are going to take a swing at trying to lure Zach LaVine to their team in free agency, with it also kind of this theory being backed up as these reports were kind of peeking out online. DeJounte Murray actually texted out a couple of eye emojis, which often kind of, symbolize, well, kind of, I'm hearing it too. This is like, low key, like, he's kind of hinting at it as well. That's what is really happening here, and let's be honest here, Chicago Bulls fans, I don't think Zach LaVine is going to be leaving. I really liked what the Chicago Bulls had when it come to Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic. I think once you go into next season, you get Patrick Williams back, and you get Lonzo back all healthy. There's really only a couple things they need to do in this offseason. I think that is, of course, trade Kobe White for some more, wing depth. I think is the main one. They've got so many guards on this roster, they definitely do not need Kobe White at this point in time. Having Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and AO should all be enough guards for them next season. Again, they definitely lack forward depth and backup centers. I don't know if you'd bring back Tristan Thompson off the bench. I would realistically, if I was them, way prefer to go and trade for a dude like a JaVale McGee to add some interior defense off that bench, or try and sign him rather than free agency. Again, I'd bring back Derrick Jones, and yeah, just trade Kobe White or someone like that for a good defensive power forward to maybe come off the bench. And yeah, you could legitimately be set. I think the team could definitely even get better and better next year. But the fact that Zach LaVine is not a lock, and that some people are saying that Zach LaVine could be the surprise exit, is definitely something to talk about. And, well, yeah, the San Antonio Spurs, I think, shocked a lot of people this season. I definitely did see some people saying that the Spurs would actually be a bottom 5 team, especially after seeing, DeMar DeRozan leave and a couple other things happen where it just didn't look like they had a very good team at all. But like myself and others who were kind of still confident in players like DeJounte Murray and that to improve, they actually did, and Murray became an all-star. I didn't think he'd improve this much, where he now went from 16, 7, and 5.5 per game to 21, 8.5, and 9 per game as one of the best defensive players in the league. He realistically took a massive jump, and the only thing, I think the San Antonio Spurs team is really good. I actually think it can be very comparable right now to what the Phoenix Suns have. And what I mean by that is, you've got your, really good defensive point guard that can be an excellent playmaker, that can definitely take shots when needed, in DeJounte Murray, who I think's a lot like Chris Paul. Then you've got, of course, your, 3-and-D type of forward guys in Keldon Johnson and, Devin Vassell as well, who I think can be compared to what they've got in Jay Crowder and Mikal Bridges. The only thing I think the Spurs need to be somewhat like them is, of course, a dominant young center and a really good shot creator. And imagine if they won the lottery this year, took Chet Holmgren with that, top 3 pick or whatever, put him at the center position, and then signed, Zach LaVine in free agency. Well, it would be legitimately one of the best teams in the league, and I think would take a huge jump similar to what, Phoenix did a couple years back. Now, I'm not saying Chet would be as good as DeAndre Ayton straight away. Of course he wouldn't. DeAndre Ayton's a 3 to 4 year old, 3 or 4 more years rather into the league than what Chet would be. But I think you guys get what I'm saying. The Spurs finished as a 10th seed, 34 and 48. Imagine if they added an elite shot creating guard in Zach LaVine. a really young, good offensive center that could, be a solid player defensively one day, and then of course filled out that bench as well, that Spurs team would be pretty insane. Plus, you think DeJounte Murray and LaVine all have that extra step to take in their career, and Keldon Johnson could definitely jump into being even more of a better player next season. I mean, the dude played 75 games, 32 minutes, averaging 17 and 6 on 40% from 3. Really good defense. Super underrated player in the league. I know none of this is probably going to happen, and I think that the Spurs are going to somewhat have to stick to the draft to, complete the future. But I definitely feel like the Spurs could low-key make a big splash in free agency. Like, there are tons of players from Texas, tons of players who would want to move to Texas. And, again, the Spurs will have, I believe, quite a bit of free agency money and an all-star on their team and a good high pick. Why wouldn't a player like Zach LaVine want to go to their team? It's just, does Zach LaVine think that the Spurs could be better than the Bulls eventually? That's the thing, because right now, of course, Murray is a better player than what, Lonzo Ball is. But I still feel like with what the Bulls got when it comes to DeMar DeRozan and, Nikola Vucevic, I still feel like they're a couple of steps further than the San Antonio Spurs. And I think right now they're, of course, playing in a much harder conference. Like, the Eastern Conference is, of course, way better than what the Western Conference was this year. And they still managed to get another 12 or so wins on the Spurs. And I still think we'll lure a couple of really solid players in on free agency. I think that could be realistically the move that they do look to go at long term. Again, I think, make sure everyone's healthy. Move Kobe White for a backup forward. Sign a rim protective center off the bench. And the other one could be, maybe do you look to try and go for a Rudy Gobert to add even more defense to the team? I know that's highly rumored, and I actually think it would make a lot of sense. I think Rudy Gobert would fit the team a whole lot better than what Vucevic would be, especially considering I think they've already got enough offense. Bringing in some extra defense could help. And I have seen the rumor that they would be looking to go all in on Gobert, and that would be kind of interesting. But honestly, the Zach LaVine rumor won't go away, and even though I think he probably will stay in Chicago, I mean, come on now, this is a really interesting thing, and I think the Spurs to, Zach LaVine would be quite cool. And hey, it is rumored that they are showing interest right now, and will most likely offer him a pretty big max contract going into free agency, which I think a lot of San Antonio Spurs fans are going to be pretty hopeful that they can maybe, of course, make the move happen. But you know what? It's going to be tough. I think both teams are going to be low-key, very good next season. I just am very, kind of concerned. If you go for an Eastern Conference team, get ready, because the Eastern Conference is just getting better and better. I have a feeling the Washington Wizards might make a couple splashes in free agency that are low-key. Charlotte are a nice rising team. The Cleveland Cavaliers have one of the best young cores in the game, if not the best young core in the game. They're definitely going to rise as well. So many teams are rising, and there's just still so many good teams in that Eastern Conference. It's going to be so tricky to see what happens in the future. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA content and NBA news. Of course, don't forget to comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you guys think the Chicago Bulls will get Zach LaVine? Or do you guys think he will potentially go to a different team? Of course, I would definitely really like to know. But of course, as well, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/long channel. Check out my podcast as well if you haven't already, which I'll be all linking in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.